There's always this tendency to look at the unfamiliar in cartoonish kinds of ways.
I don't listen to the music that you think I would. I don't watch the things. I don't dress that way.
Any non-working actor out there would love to be typecast.
And that's not just black, white. You have to get into the nuances of a person's culture and character.
What was interesting was that the producers were always women and the directors were men.
It's ignorance of culture, but ignorance breeds ignorance.
They show the guys in the chaps, poodle in one arm and the other one throwing confetti.
Why can't the doctor have a disability? Why can't the lawyer have a disability?
I've been told oftentimes, sound more ethnic. Can you relax your speech a little bit more?
When I auditioned, I looked at the cast and I was like, they already have a black girl on it. She's my complexion, there's no way I'm gonna get it, no way I'm gonna get it.
Hollywood, for overall, will cast like the same people in the same roles.
Well, yeah, James Franco plays every gay character in the world, and he's straight.
Oh my God, I finally got an audition, I got an agent, ER, what am I gonna play? Like the young doctor, you know, like, oh no, John, you're gonna audition for the crazy one-legged homeless guy.
So you're always trying to work against a certain kind of representation, which is always very cartoonish.
The thing that does bother me is even in the low-budget films that we show, so many of the gay characters are portrayed by straight people. And it's become more politicized.
But gay people play straight people too.
Well, they do.
But they're not called brave when they take that role. You're so brave for playing a gay person.
What the film
I think people just have the simplest, they just take the path of least resistance, right? So if you're writing a role and you write, John, and don't specify age, race, or ethnicity, people are just going to assume white male, right? Whereas if you say John, comma, missing a leg, right, then at the very least it makes the casting director have to think about casting that in a certain way.
Yeah, she just cracks the whip like a slave, like a slave driver. You know that, whatever. I was like,
I don't what?
I can't say anything. If I say anything angrily, or if I'm just like, hey, that's not cool, it's just like, okay, well, now you're just being, like stuck up or whatever.
Oh, that's not cool.
Okay, Melissa's the director, so she just deals with the actors. But Mark is the director of photography, and he does everything else.
Wow. I've been on sets where fag was used a lot. And I guarantee I was not the only person made to feel uncomfortable in that situation, but I was the only gay person. And people knew I was gay, and no one said anything.
The director said to me, girls, do you want anything else? And I had to just shut that down and, and be like, well, boy, I don't have anything else right now, because it's like it's that thing of you can't really let that pass. When something overtly happens, you have to nip it in the bud.
Yeah. You reach a point where you have to say something. That you can't just let it slide.
If you don't consistently address them, then it just seems like it's okay. She's fine with it.
Yeah, I think so.
Is that as a minority filmmaker, as a woman filmmaker, you were given less chances to fail and try again?
We still aren't allowed to make mistakes. We still have to be better than everyone else.
It's their disability not to be educated. It's so unconscious because we have so many societal biases. Exactly.
One of the executives for FX, the television network, they were, I think, 12% African American. And they sat down, they talked about it, and the executive made the decision to start bringing on more African American talent. And now it's split half and half. It definitely starts with people at the top.
Oddly enough, I actually don't really like affirmative action. I've had somebody actually ask me, why did you get in this role then? Oh, because you're black. I just don't think that people respect you whenever that happens.
You can tell them a million things. You can show them a million great pieces. They're like,
I don't know what my sister and I, what our educations would have looked like if our mom and aunts hadn't gone to college. They were the first people in their family to go to college, largely because of affirmative action. It's kind of set up to help people who do have those skills and who are in a position to succeed, just to say, yeah, like, here's this little olive branch, come in.
So Rebecca said, hey, you know, there's a guy you've worked with before who happens to be legally blind who's available. And he wrote back and he said, you're diversity, but you're not diversity in the sense that's sexy to networks for staffing their writers' rooms. There's no blind guy group that's calling CBS every week and saying, hey, how many blind guys have you hired this week?
Are those in a position to tell stories obligated to speak on behalf of their entire culture?
I get that from Black people a lot. They see you doing one thing, and it's like, well, you must not do all the other things that we want you to do.
If I, as a minority filmmaker, go and use that card, do I have to make an Asian American movie? Can I make a movie about
Maybe
puppets?
not.
Maybe I don't have to write a sitcom about a guy who's losing his sight, but I could certainly add characters with a variety of disabilities.
I'm not just Jordan Taylor. I'm Jordan Taylor who represents this family, who represents this race.
I was born in Ecuador, so that is part of me, but at the same time I was raised in America. Now that I'm a filmmaker, I get to choose what story to tell or how to portray my culture or my ethnicity.
Sometimes I feel like because I'm African American, that they just assume that my show is just all about African Americans and that is it. And I've never put that out there.
I was on the board of Delta, which puts Pride on for, I think, 7 years. And every single year it was, you need to do this and you don't do that, and counter protests, yada, yada, yada. We're talking about inclusion. Maybe we need to start by cleaning out our own house.
I think a lot of Black people are still kind of caught up in that old mentality where they see a movie and they feel like, well, you know, I don't see no one who looks like me, so maybe that's not for me.
Gay people are not using their own resources. I've always said gay life television's door is open, and I developed it for gay people to empower them in the media industry. That is why that was created. And most of the people that work for me and all that aren't even from Pittsburgh.
The kids will be writing their first draft and they're writing these one-dimensional women and like, oh yeah, it's a first draft. It's always like, oh yeah, it's a first draft if it's a woman, but if it was a male character, and we talk about it, you know, even the women do it. I mean, everybody does it, so we're all sick with the same disease. It's not, you know.
How have we not all met each other before now? And that's partially on us.
I've been talking to this point the whole time, but just mentoring, you know, really, you know, letting young people know that they don't have to fit into any of those preconceived molds. If you like film, if you like writing, you can just do that.
I think we all need to mentor. I think we all need to aggressively mentor.
Find a teacher, find a mentor.
Ideally, I would like, you know, okay, there's a mentor system.
Do whatever you can to mentor and work with those who are coming up.
I think education. A lot of it is education.
Be that person you wish you had in your life when you were 13, 14 years old, you know?
Networking is vitally important. We have to do better jobs of networking.
Creating more opportunities to find out what's going on like on a national level and like tap into relationships, like in networking.
Build a bigger system, bigger network.
I'm starting to get very hopeful that maybe we could be a start of something.
Let's be the nucleus of something to network. We all know
exactly.
It's about networking in this industry.
So if there were this kind of centralized community where we do share information and say, hey, here's an opportunity for somebody applying, or you can, you know, have a meet and greet or something like that, then that I think would help so much to just bring the community closer and everyone working on the same team.
Money bags need to be more risk-taking and less conservative of like, let's just rehash the same story over and over again.
It's very difficult to make a production entirely on your own. You still need crew, actors, it's,
money.
You know, it's money, absolutely.
Like how many people can get expensive college education that offers expensive film programs.
People that have the money at the top.
If you are a person in power and you're watching this conversation, I mean, really it just comes down to hiring, like people who are qualified, just hire us.
We finally have a trans actor playing a trans character, but the writers and directors
had to use a cell phone to film it, which is tragic.
On the flip side, that struggle gives us stories.
With the success of Moonlight and Orange is the
Oh,
New Black,
yes.
and you know, it's like people want different stories.
Yes, they do.
I don't need to relax my speech because this is how I speak.
The conversations about diversity and inclusion are usually happening when someone like me is sitting at the table. When I am not there, is that conversation still happening?
Realizing that the onus is on us to create opportunities. In my own case, I created opportunities for myself that turns into opportunities for other people.
We're all talented. We're all right here, and we can be a strong bundle of sticks together.
We're not to be left on the side. We're not to be the second in charge. No, we're capable, and we're out here and we're available.